Welcome to 3-Minute Testimonies, a series where we summarize biblical stories in under 3 minutes or less. The account of the 10 plagues of Egypt was a great display of God's power over the land of Egypt as well as its king. The Egyptians followed a polytheistic religion and therefore believed in multiple gods. When Moses walked into Pharaoh's courts demanding the freedom of his people on behalf of his one God, the Pharaoh was not impressed. After all, what could Moses' one God do to challenge Egypt's multiple gods? The subsequent plagues that followed demonstrated how the great I Am had dominion over all of the elements and how the Egyptians and their gods were powerless to stop him. To the Egyptians, the Nile River was a source of life. They worshipped a deity known as Hapi, whom they believed guarded over the Nile River and would flood it annually. For the first plague, God had Moses strike the Nile River, turning it into blood, killing all the fish and creatures that lived in it. Hecate was the Egyptian goddess of fertility. She had a frog's head. For the second plague, God makes frogs come out of the Nile River and cover the land of Egypt and the people's homes. Geb was the god of earth and habitable land. For the third plague, God turns the dust of the earth into lights, and the lights covered the land. Khepri had a beetle's head and was the god of insects and the morning sun. For his fourth plague, God sent flies to Pharaoh and all of Egypt early in the morning. Hathor was the Egyptian goddess of livestock, the sky, and joy. She's oftentimes depicted as a cow. For his fifth plague, God sent a disease that killed all Egyptian-owned livestock overnight. Isis was the Egyptian goddess of magic, wisdom, and healing. For his sixth plague, God sent boils and sores to cover the skin of the Egyptians. Nut was the Egyptian goddess of the sky. For his seventh plague, God sent a hailstorm from above that killed any living creatures that remained outside. Osiris was the Egyptian god of agriculture and vegetation. For his eighth plague, God sent a storm of locusts that covered the land and ate any plant life that still remained. Ra was the Egyptian god of sun and their most important god. For the ninth plague, God sent a deep 3-day darkness that completely blotted out the sun. Anubis was the Egyptian god of death and the afterlife. For the 10th plague, God struck down every firstborn in the land of Egypt. One by one, God sent the plagues, and Pharaoh would fold under pressure, only to immediately change his mind and repeat the cycle all over again. Each time, Egypt would witness how the God of Moses had control over all of the elements, and how their own gods were powerless to stop or reverse the plague. The God of Moses was truly superior over all the gods they had in their own land. When the final plague hit, Pharaoh lost his firstborn son. This hit especially hard since the Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were gods among men. But the God of Moses was clearly mightier than the pharaohs. With his ego bruised, Pharaoh finally lets the Israelites go. Our God is the mighty God of everything. Whatever situation, problem, or ordeal you may be going through right now, He has the power to offer you a solution. That is, if you let Him. Turn your life over to Jesus today and experience the freedom that He offers. I'm Brother Eli, and I've testified in under 3 minutes.